Last night I was out hanging out and I got a notification on my phone that surprised me. Actually, I'll go a step further and say it stunned me, and that is that the Screenwriters Guild and the motion picture places have come to a tentative agreement that is very likely to end the strike that has been going on in Hollywood. And I want to talk about it. So before I get into it, remember, I am Elliott Connie. I'm a licensed professional counselor. And here in this series, the Therapist React series, we talk about popular stories going on in the news and pop culture and find the mental health lesson within those stories so that we can have a better society, and as individuals, we can have better mental health. So first, let me share with you the story.
Tonight, Hollywood's 146-day writers' strike could end at any moment.
What do we want? Fair pay!
Two sources familiar with the negotiations telling NBC News the two sides have come to an agreement, but are still haggling over language in the deal. The Writers Guild and the AMPTP, which represents Hollywood streaming services and studios, including NBC Universal's parent company Comcast, met for the fifth straight day of negotiations. Sources saying the holdup with the deal is language around artificial intelligence. Writers fearing that AI technology could take over script and story writing duties and cut them out of jobs. Other sticking points, sources say, have been resolved, like residual payments for streaming shows and higher wages.
We have seen in the past 10 years a massive shift in the way things work in this industry, streaming becoming the predominant platform being but one of them. And so to make a 21st century deal, in many ways, they had to lose some of the 20th century labor relations methods they were using.
If a deal is reached with the WGA, late night shows like Jimmy Fallon's and Seth Meyers on NBC could make a reappearance within days. Same with daytime talk shows like The Drew Barrymore Show and The Jennifer Hudson Show. But SAG-AFTRA, which represents over 100,000 actors, is still on strike.
You're not going to see anyone in front of a camera until the Actors Union make their deal. Then you're going to have to see a ramp up. And that could go anywhere from about 3 weeks to about 6 weeks to get scripts in place, to get productions up and running, and then get those productions starting, and then see things being filmed. That really starts impacting the summer blockbuster season for 2024, which can be a big, big hit to the studio's bottom line.
And Chloe's with me here now, and there's another major sign that things could be wrapping up.
Yeah, so the big Hollywood heavyweights, those executives that run the studios, they were not at the negotiating table today or yesterday, which is another sign that we are inching closer to a deal, hopefully coming today.
Thanks for watching.
Okay, now what I want to talk to you about is judgment. As you heard in there, this is a really big deal and it's a really important thing. But throughout this strike, I've heard so many people make comments about how selfish and greedy the actors and writers are. But let me tell you a quick story. Earlier this year, I was on a movie set, a blockbuster movie set with like super A-list celebrities movie set. And I was talking to one of these actors about the strike. Now, at that time, the strike was right about to happen. And they were talking about how this strike was going to happen and how it was going to impact things and all of that. And I asked this writer, what was the strike about? And the writer talked about how the actor talked about how the writers are being cut out of the streaming services revenue and how unfair that was. Now, I know nothing about this industry, so I was like, oh, I didn't know that. And he said, there's basically about 6 writers that make millions of dollars in the industry, and every other writer is living in poverty. And I think we oftentimes think of actors and we think of Tom Cruise and we think of Brad Pitt and we think of Julia Roberts, but we don't think of the actors doing small roles, trying to make a living, living below the poverty line in Los Angeles, California. I'm really good friends with Tiffany Haddish, and she talked about how she did a show. Her very first show was I believe it was in 2004, and she used to get checks from that show that were reasonable. I mean, not to make you wealthy, but reasonable. And when streaming services happened, that revenue went away. Now, Tiffany's gone on to do major motion pictures and a world famous comedy career and all of that. But she was explaining to me that if I were living off of the work that I did in 2004, when the streaming services happened, then that would have went away and that would have been gone. And the last check that she got the most recent check, I should say last as in final, but the most recent check that she got from doing that work in 2004 was for 0.001 cent, less than a penny. Because as you heard in that story, in order to make a 2021 deal, the industry has had to stop using the thinking that they used in previous decades. So try not to pass judgment. You don't have all the information available to you. Even though people tend to think that they do, it is okay to acknowledge, like, I don't know everything about everything. I don't know anything about a particular subject matter, and then not pass judgment. I happen to know some writers that haven't made a penny in the last 4 months. I happen to know some writers that haven't made a penny in the last several months and have lost their homes and their cars through the strike. Like, this has been a very, very hard ordeal, but it's about fairness. If I did the work, I should be compensated from the work. Just because a new platform has occurred, a new delivery method, streaming, and now all of that is happening because they didn't have a deal in place, I don't get paid anymore. That is unfair. And we need to pay people for the work that they did, for their intellectual property, for their talents, and for their efforts. That was not happening for a long period of time, and people were struggling. And now, excitedly, that struggle may be over. I spend a lot of time in LA, and I have a lot of friends in the actor and writer world, and everything has come to a halt. Everybody's going to celebrate and be excited when this is over, and this tentative deal looks like we're starting to come to a close, at least of the writer strike, and I'm super excited about that. But I want to make sure when you guys are faced with information that is outside of your area of expertise, outside of your zone of genius, you don't have to pass judgment. Passing judgment is like the lowest rung of human intellect. You can be a collector of information, as I was when I was talking to that actor on the movie set. I did not know anything about this strike other than it was coming, and in a very short conversation I learned a lot of information that let me know why this was an important thing to cover. So that's the lesson here. I want you guys to really remember that judgment is not necessary. Curiosity is always better, and be a seeker of information instead of someone who is passing judgment, because very often your judgment will be wrong. So thank you for watching this video. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. Please like and share this video and support this channel, support this series by hitting the subscribe button, and then make sure you hit the notification bell so you get notified each and every time we make a video and post it in this series, which is every single day, Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, except holidays, but every single day, Monday through Friday. Subscribe, support my channel. You guys mean the world to me, and I'll see you in the next video.